The girl was horrified to discover there seemed to be another label underneath her medicine. Out of curiosity, she gently peeled it back. Inside was indeed a hidden label that had been covered up with her mother's name written on it. This sudden discovery filled Annie with dread to figure out what her mother had really been giving her. That night, Annie sneaked into the living room, planning to look it up on the computer, but unfortunately the internet suddenly went down, making it impossible to search anything. Little did she know, her mother had been watching the entire scene from the shadows. The next day, her mother calmly worked in the garden. Annie saw her opportunity and quickly called the Drug Administration, wanting to ask them what trimethyl actually was. But to her complete surprise, the person on the other end actually knew who she was, frightening Annie into hanging up immediately. Thankfully, her mother was still downstairs and hadn't noticed, but Annie wasn't going to give up. She picked up the phone again, this time calling a pharmacy in another district. They told her that trimethyl was a medication for heart conditions, including heart palpitations and heart failure, which matched what her mother had told her. But Annie still felt something was wrong, so she asked about the appearance of the pill and was told that trimethyl was a red pill. Annie's suspicions about her mother grew stronger. To avoid raising her mother's suspicions, she pretended everything was normal and suggested going to see a movie in town, which her mother happily agreed to. Before leaving, Annie emptied a handful of capsules from her piggy bank, pills she had secretly saved up, wanting to bring them along for identification. When her mother parked, Annie noticed a pharmacy nearby. After entering the theater, seeing her mother engrossed in the movie, Annie said she needed to use the bathroom. Her mother let her go without giving it much thought. Annie immediately felt relieved, quickly wheeled herself out of the theater and headed straight for the pharmacy across the street. But once inside, she found the pharmacy was crowded with people, making Annie increasingly anxious. If she waited too long, her mother would surely come looking for her. So she gathered her courage to cut in line, took out the pills, and asked the clerk about their purpose. The clerk informed her these were pet medications, called lidocaine, mainly used to reduce pain and sensation in animals' legs. The moment Annie learned the truth, her mother also arrived at the pharmacy. She immediately injected something into Annie's leg, and Annie's vision went black, causing her to pass out on the spot. When Annie woke up, she found herself locked in her room by her mother. But how could an ordinary door lock possibly hold her? She inserted 2 pins into the keyhole, then gently twisted them. With a click sound, the lock opened. But before she could celebrate, she suddenly discovered her mother had placed a hoe across the doorknob. Annie then realized her mother had anticipated this. Looking out the window, she saw that if she could climb to the opposite window, she could successfully escape. So she found a bundle of electrical wire, connected it to a power strip, then grabbed a soldering iron and took a large mouthful of water. Next, she climbed out the window and began inching her way toward the adjacent window. Finally, she reached the window next door. She plugged in the cord, waited for the soldering iron to heat up, and pressed it directly against the glass. Soon, cracks appeared in the window. Then she spat the water from her mouth onto it, resulting in a crackling sound, completely shattering the glass. She then laid a blanket over the windowsill, and just like that, she successfully entered her mother's bedroom.